Morning everyone, I'm Andy and last year I coached the trumpets on the SScOT course. I'm sorry we can't all be together this year, obviously because of the circumstances. We decided to do some online training videos for you. Today we're going to talk about Pomp and Circumstance March number 4. This march is, well, it's a march and trio, so it has two sections to it. We'll talk about that later. This music from Edward Elgar is, as dare I say, as English as it comes. It's patriotic nationalism. It's got big sweeping melodies that remind you of Spitfires in the sky. It was used at the royal wedding. It's got a World War II connotation. It's very nationalistic music. In a march and trio, we have two types of music. The march section, which is quite staccato, strong, military, and the trio section, which is always tends to be more of a flowing melody, and we need to play these two sections very differently. We're going to talk about some techniques to do that. So to start off with, we'll look at the second trumpet part right at the beginning there, and this rhythm comes up over and over again in the piece. Everyone plays it together. The trumpets have the tune, but we also have it in a kind of harmony section as well, and the second and third trumpets start with it. So we're talking about getting that military style, and we want to do that in two ways. One, through the attack on the fronts of the notes, so the way that we tongue it, so with strong tongue, with plenty of the front of our mouth, and also with our rhythm. So the stronger the rhythms, the stronger it's going to sound. To demonstrate, the first section in the second trumpet or third trumpet part could be played. There's nothing really wrong with that, but it isn't the right style. So the notes were accurate, but the rhythm wasn't very strict, it wasn't strong, and it wasn't military, and the notes were too short. So we'll notice here, at the beginning, we've got staccatos in a lot of it. Then also notice at B, where it goes quieter, we have a tenuto in, so we change that. Just a subtle difference, but it makes quite a difference, and if the whole orchestra does it, then it'll sound great. So that's the second and third trumpet part. The third trumpet part just does it down the octave, and then the first trumpet part, you'll see at the beginning, you have the tune, and this is along with everybody else, and it's piano, so we don't really need to hear this. Then there's the semi-quaver section, which is going to throw a lot of people. It doesn't really matter too much, don't worry about it, it's hard. Practice it slow and speed it up. Until you can kind of play it. The rest of this section follows the same style. It doesn't really need to be heard. We can play this piece loud all the way through, and it's going to tire us out quickly, and it's not particularly going to sound very exciting for the audience. Pick your moments when you want to be heard. In the first trumpet part, for example, though it doesn't look very exciting, in bars 46 and 48, is actually really important. So we'll bring that bit out. But when you've got the tune and it's in unison with the rest of the orchestra, we don't really need to be heard too much. So then we're going to contrast that first section with the kind of legato style of the second of the trio section. So let's just go down to look at that, which starts at J. Again, this section comes twice. Save yourself the first time it comes. It's very easy as a trumpet player to get carried away and want to dominate the whole orchestra the whole time. We don't need to do that, especially here at J. Sit back on it, and we want a warm lyrical sound. So to change the way that we play to get a warm lyrical sound, what we're going to do is we're going to warm up the air. So think about the air like you're steaming up a window. We want warm air like that. And we want to open up the inside of our mouth as well to make it like a cavernous kind of sonorous, big open space inside our mouth so that we get a really nice warm sound on the trumpet. So we're showing two types of playing here. A kind of military stereotypical trumpet fanfare type style playing, and then this where we need to think about a bow of a cello. Da, 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 I'll just play a bit to demonstrate. So I'm going to try and open up my mouth as much as I can. And that's really going to be a mezzo forte the first time we play it so that we don't dominate. When it comes back later on and we have grandioso, it's going to be slower, it's double forte, then we can give it loads, then we can really make ourselves heard. Yeah, at the end that happens, the tunes both come together and the trombones have an exciting part and we can sit on top of that. So there's really those two styles of playing. One final tip that I'd like to leave you with is that when you're playing in an orchestra, it can be a tiring environment, especially if you're young and you're not all that experienced. Don't give too much too soon in a piece like this. It's very loud, it can be very tiring. One thing we can do to help ourselves as well is think about the placement of the trumpet bell. So when I'm playing something that I'm not particularly, it's not very interesting, and you can take this into school band, you can take it into orchestra, everywhere you play, just play your normal style, you know, down. Then when you want to be heard, raise the bell up. When the sound is more, it's going straight out into the audience like that, it's like adding two dynamics to everything you do and you don't have to work so hard. It also looks really cool if you see the whole trumpet section when it's a loud bit, put their bell in the air. The difference between is the spatial thing. When the sound is coming directly out at the audience as to going into the back of the players in front, it makes a huge difference, not only to the volume, but also to the type of sound that you get. And it looks really cool too. So maybe at the end here, we could have bells up to play that grandioso section and not have to work quite as hard. The other thing is when you start playing really loud, it changes the sound as well. You get a harsher sound. So if we can do it with the spatial, with the bell being up in the air, then we can still keep that nice warm sound that we talked about before. Anyway, I hope that's a few things to think about. You are all very safe and well in this strange coronavirus times, and hope to see you all next year in person when we'll look at some more music. Okay, bye-bye.